In this video, we're going to talk about how you can review your nightly payment processing and make sure it's set up correctly to ensure that your customers' invoices from QuickBooks or Xero accounting are being processed automatically on a nightly basis. So first of all, you're going to log into Benji Pays with your username and password. Next, if your nightly payment processing is not turned on, you're going to see this message on your home screen telling you that it's disabled and that you need to go to your settings tab to turn that on. So you can do that by clicking here or by going to Settings, Company Settings. Once you're in the company settings, if you have not filled out all these fields, you'll be able to do that now. These fields are what are going to show up on your customers' transaction receipts. And so it's important to have that information accurate. At the bottom here, you're going to see some options. The first one is process credit memos. If this is turned off, it's turned off for all of your customers globally. If it's turned on, you can still disable it for individual customers in their profiles. What this will do is process any credit memos that are on file in your accounting system for a customer before charging their card. For example, if you have an invoice for a customer for $100 and there's a $10 credit memo outstanding, Benji Pays will automatically apply the $10 payment from the credit memo to the invoice in your accounting system and then bill the customer's credit card for the remaining balance of $90. That's what will happen if the process credit memos option is turned on. If it's turned off, Benji Pays will simply process the payment for $100 on that invoice. Next, you're going to be able to turn on or off enabling sending receipts to your customers for any transactions. If you turn this off here, it's turned off for all your customers globally. If you have it on, you can still disable it on a customer by customer basis. Next, you're going to say whether you want to attach PDF invoices from your accounting system, in this case it's QuickBooks, to your customers' receipt emails. If you turn this off, it's turned off for all your customers and there is not an ability to turn it on and off for individual customers. This will include a copy of the paid invoice from your accounting system in the email with the transaction receipt that your customer receives. We highly recommend turning this on as it will reduce the number of support calls you get in regards to your accounts receivable and charges on your customers' credit cards. Lastly, you're going to enable the nightly payment processing by toggling this slider right here. Once that's done, you click Save Company Settings, and now your account is set up to process transactions automatically every night. So in order to process transactions, you need to have customer cards on file. So to do that, you're going to do a couple of things, and we have another video that shows this. But the three options are, you can go to Customer Payment Profiles, click Add New, and add a card manually here. Second thing you could do is send a card info request, which will send your customer an email with a secure link that they can enter their credit card information with. This will automatically link their card to their QuickBooks profile or their Xero profile and set them up to be set up for automated nightly processing right away once they've filled out that form. Lastly, you can go to Open Invoices and email a copy of an invoice to them, which will include a Pay Now link with an option for them to pay their invoice that you've sent them, as well as save their card on file for future transactions. Once you've got the customer profiles in the system, that's the only way that Benji Pays will know to process a payment for an invoice that's in your accounting system. So these are the customers from our accounting system that we've set up credit card payments for. Now, our nightly transaction processing was run just a few minutes ago, so we're going to go and take a look at the results of what happened. So when you come into your email in the morning, you're going to see a few things. First of all, you're going to see an email saying that your transactions were processed, as well as a CSV file containing the details of the processing from the night before. The next thing you're going to do is you can log into Benji Pays and go to the Transactions tab and then select the date that you want to view the details for. So this was our nightly payment processing that just ran a few minutes ago. From here, we can see a summary of all the transactions that occurred the night before. We can download the same CSV that you got in your email if you've misplaced it. And you can also see a summary of how much was collected per merchant account and per currency so that you can get a quick idea of what you to expect in your bank accounts. You'll see the number of invoices that were processed and the number of approved charges, and also you'll see the number of credit memos processed if you have the credit memo processing option turned on. So what we can see here is that Benji Pays processed 2 invoices, but 3 different transactions. We have 2 cards on file for Dunder Mifflin Paper Co. The first transaction was declined with a response from the card processing company of hold card. Next, because we had a second card on file, that card was also attempted. It was a MasterCard, and it was also declined, but you can see a note here that the previous card was declined, and that's why this one is being processed. So unfortunately that invoice couldn't be collected on today. It's probably a good idea for us to go follow up with our customer to get updated payment information from them. We can do that by sending them a card request. Lastly, we'll see that invoice 1090 for Advanced Refrigeration was approved. It was a Visa card and it was for $890. From here, we can go in and see the details of that transaction. We can see the total amount, the invoice date, when it was due, the first and last 4 digits of the card, which gateway was used to process it, what currency it was in, and the payment reference number from the credit card transaction company. You'll also see the steps that Benji Pays took in order to get to the final result. We got a approved transaction, we applied the payment in QuickBooks for $890 Canadian, and we sent a receipt to support@benjipays.com, which is the email address that was on file for this customer. It just happens to be our email for testing purposes and demonstration purposes. So now we can go see what our customer would have received for this transaction. So we're going to go to our email, and this is what our customer would have received. They would have received this email right here coming from us, and it's actually coming from our email address that we would have registered for our company. In this case, it's the support@benjipays.com, but in your case, it'll be your email address that you set up in your company settings. You'll see the receipt is branded with our company logo. It has the invoice number. It has the details of where the transaction's coming from, what company. It's got our phone number, it's got our URL on it, and it's got all the details of the payment. It also, in our case, because we have the option to turned on to send PDF attachments of the invoice to our customers, it's also got an attachment of the paid invoice from our accounting system. We find that this greatly reduces the number of calls that our customers get from their clients wondering what a charge is for and requesting a copy of an invoice. Lastly, if we go into our QuickBooks instance, and if you're on 0, it would be the same thing here. We're going to go into Advanced Refrigeration and just refresh this, and we'll see here that invoice 1090 is marked as paid. There's a payment here for $890, and if we open that up, we'll see that this is the payment with the same reference number that was applied here. Benji Pays has applied this. It's used the account we specified in our gateway settings as the deposit account, and it's included all the transaction details from the credit card in your payment in QuickBooks so that you have everything that you need in one place should you ever need to go try to figure out what happened or if a customer has a question. And that's how the nightly payment processing works.